hung on his left hip. A leader of the Shoshones, he was renowned as much for his devotion to the welfare of his people as for his prowess in battle. These, then, were the 8 dusty travelers returning to the land they loved from that which men called civilization. They had endured much. All had nearly lost their lives on one occasion or another. They were eager to be home, so eager that in their fatigue and their anticipation they forgot the most important lesson the wilderness had to impart. They must never, ever let down their guard. Nate King was reaching up to rub the stubble on his square chin when a gleam of light in a stand of pines above and to his left caught his attention. It was the sort of flash made by the reflection of sunlight on metal. He had seen this kind of gleam before, and while there might be a perfectly innocent explanation, it had been Nate's experience that those who lived the longest on the frontier were those who realized danger came in many guises and shapes. So superbly honed were Nate's reflexes that a heartbeat after he saw the flash, he reined his bay to the right and bawled to the others, "Take cover!" A rifle shot cracked, unnaturally loud in the rarefied mountain air. Nate thought he heard the buzz of lead past his head. Then he ducked low and rode hell-bent for cover. He heard his daughter-in-law cry out, "Zach, no!" Nate twisted in the saddle. His son was barreling up the slope toward the pines, whooping at the top of his lungs. It was rash, foolhardy, gloriously brave. Without hesitation, Nate reined after him and jabbed his heels against the bay. "Damned kids," Shakespeare McNair fumed. "They have not so much brains as earwax." Yet despite that, he charged after them. The 3 women and the girl looked at one another. Their expressions betrayed their thoughts. They thought their men were reckless. They thought it wiser to seek cover. But the next moment they were in full gallop up the slope. For if there was one trait of which the King family and Blue Water Woman could never be accused, it was cowardice. They would give their lives for their families, as they had proven time and again. Zach King spied rising tendrils of gun smoke and veered toward them. He gave voice to another war whoop. Someone had tried to kill his father, and that someone would pay. Fierce exultation coursed through his veins as he saw a shadowy figure rise from concealment. But the exultation changed to consternation when he saw the figure shove a ramrod into a rifle. The would-be assassin had reloaded faster than he anticipated. Nate King saw the figure too. An icy hand seized his heart as the bushwhacker whipped the rifle to his shoulder to fire at his son. Instinctively, Nate snapped his hawken to his own shoulder and fired, knowing full well that to hit a target from a full gallop took as much luck as skill. He was sure he missed, but he was just as sure that his shot came close enough to cause the lurker in the trees to whirl and bolt. Zach reined to the left to reach the would-be assassin that much sooner. In his haste and his excitement, he failed to pay attention to the trees he was plunging into. As a result, a low limb materialized before him as if out of nowhere, and before he could duck, the limb caught him across the chest and lifted him clean off his horse. Shakespeare McNair grinned. "Kids," he again declared. He slowed, though, and shouted to Zach as he came abreast. "Are you all right?" The younger King, clutching his chest and swearing luridly, his face the color of a turnip, nodded and waved Shakespeare on. The figure in the trees came to a bareback pinto and vaulted onto it without breaking stride. A slap of his legs, and the pinto was off, bounding with the speed of a rabbit being chased by coyotes. Nate was close enough to use a pistol, but he didn't draw one. If at all possible, he wanted to take the shooter alive, or at the very least, alive enough to say why the man tried to kill them.